What's up everybody, it is I, your Gen. Welcome back to my Timeless Cup Meta Simplified Guide, episode number 3. Today we're going to talk about some fantastic generalists that have multiple lines of coverage, multiple uses, and this is really nice because they're going to round out your team. These are actually some of my favorite picks for the Timeless Cup. I'm actually really excited to share these 5 Pokemon with you, but before we get into the episode, please check out episode number 1 if you haven't yet, because you absolutely need to start with the starters. Alright, that's a video that is all about your choices for the starters, their alternates if you're not gonna go with that starter, and so you can figure out, oh, this is the one that I need, or this is the one that is a much better alternate type of situation. And then after you watch that first episode, make sure to watch episode number 2 right there, which is about the dragons and the water ice Pokemon, which are probably the most powerful Pokemon in the Timeless Cup. Definitely watch that. That is the main course of the Timeless Cup. Okay, now that we've got that done, we've got the arrows that will point you in the right direction. Now, this video is not about comparing these generalists. This is not a competition. It's more of a, what are you weak to right now? Now, take a look at your team. Alright? Now, take a look at me. How you doing? Now take a look at your team once again. What are you weak to? Now let's talk about a possible solution to your problems. Ice Fang Drapion. Now this Pokemon is a fantastic Pokemon for the Timeless Cup. If you haven't given it a try, please do. Ice Fang Drapion can handle the dragons. It can handle Dragonair and Shelgon straight. Ice Fang, no throwing, block one time. Yes, you can Ice Fang down. Just block once, make sure to block once, because you never know if it's gonna be a Dragon Pulse, right? I don't think it can it even get to a Dragon Pulse? I'm actually not sure, curious, let's see. But yeah, definitely block definitely block once, okay? Definitely block once, okay? But you can Ice Fang down and then throw Aqua Tail Crunch at the next Pokemon. You can usually get to 2 Aqua Tails if you farm down. It can handle Kingdra straight Crunch. It gets pretty close, but you can pull it off. Straight Crunch, Double Crunch, you win. Decent IVs, of course, right? PvP IVs, very important, right? But yes, you can Double Crunch, even if you go default, you can still pull it off, but it comes out like 2 HP. So, decent IVs, alright? But you can pull it off. Very good Dragon Slayer. Now for the grass types, it can handle Venusaur, block once, farm down. Ivysaur, if it's a Vine Whip version, block once, farm down. If it's a Razor Leaf, farm down, no blocking. Victory Bell, farm down, no blocking. So Razor Leaf, don't shield. Non-Razor Leaf, Vine Whip once, block once. Meganium though is a little bit, so the situation is, if it can land the Earthquake, which is a CMP tie, it can kill you, right? If it gets to through that Earthquake though, I highly suggest that you block, because look at that. I mean, look at that HP. You will definitely take that shield back in the next fight, right? Or at least do a lot of damage. Very good grass type Slayer. So if you really think about it, it's like a water ice type that can beat the dragons, but it's not weak to the grass types, right? Or it's like a fire type that can beat the grass types that doesn't get owned by the dragons. Interesting, very nice coverage. Plus, it's got Skuntank, straight Aqua Tail. It can take a Shadow Ball from Haunter, guys. It can tank a Shadow Ball from Haunter. So straight Aqua Tail, you have that. Venomoth, you have that. Straight Aqua Tail. Very good Pokemon. Very nice, but what are some problems with Ice Fang Drapion? Well, actually 2. Lapras, Sealeo. That's kind of a big one, right? But the thing is, if it could handle both of those, it would be OP. It would be probably one of the best Pokemon in this cup, right? So yes, Lapras, Sealeo, that's one. Another one, since it's part poison, is Mudboy, Whiscash, and Swampert, right? So yes, Whiscash, Swampert, it cannot handle those. Another one, since your fast attack is an ice type, and since it charges up slow, so you don't get to the Aqua Tail fast enough, fire types is another problem. Sonic Cast Form, Ninetales, and also Blaziken, you lose to. But the thing is, with Charizard, you actually see him P-type, which is pretty funny. Moving on to the next generalist, very similar to Ice Fang Drapion, Glalie. But I think it's like a step ahead, but there's some considerations, right? So with Glalie, you want to make sure that you have really good PvP IVs, right? Really good PvP IVs, because this match right here, Dragonair, is actually super close to 4 HP, right? If we do default, you're gonna see that it's like 2 HP, right? I think, yep, 2 HP, so super close. But here's the thing, right? If let's say your opponent doesn't watch my videos, right, and they see Glalie on their Dragonair, I feel like they would swap out. Okay, I don't think a lot of people know about Glalie, but you know, I mean, this is another one, very important one right here. Venusaur, there's a bulk point for sure, right? As you can see, you lose default stats, right? If you maximize, you get 100. No, you get 15. I was gonna say 150. You get 15 HP, which is pretty solid, right? There is a bulk point. It is 120.89, right? Which is basically 121. So, but this is on default stats, right? So the attack is a little bit higher. If your opponent has an attack weighted Venusaur, it could be even higher, right? If your opponent has a defense weighted or like a bulky Venusaur, it's lower, right? It's at like 118. So yeah, I would say if you have like 121 defense, that's good enough. You'll pull it off. Now this one is another one, Whiscash. But if you're able to pull this off with your stats, right? If you're able to pull this off with your Glalie, you're a step up from Drapion because Drapion loses to Whiscash. Okay, so if you're able to pull off the Dragonair, the Venusaur, the Whiscash, run your IV specific simulations, right? Then you can say that Glalie is a step up from Fang Drapion. If you cannot, don't run it. Don't waste your dust. Now, another thing that you have to consider is, does your team rely more on fast attacks or charge attacks to win, right? Because if your team relies more on fast attacks, let's say you have Venomoth, right? Very fast attack oriented, a Razor Leaf for a bunch of dragons, then maybe Drapion is more suited for your team. But if you're trying to set up like a big finisher for the win and you need something with a lot of shield pressure, then Glalie. Now, Glalie, being a pure ice type, has some problems with the fire type, but also CMP ties with Charizard. Very funny. And also has, problems with Sealeo Lapras, which brings me to the next Pokemon, Skuntank, who also needs fantastic PvP IVs for it to do like what it's supposed to do. It's kind of like a side grade to Glalie, like a step up from Drapion. It also does the charge moves type situation. It has that shield pressure and kills the Pokemon with Crunch most of the time. It can kill Lapras, Sealeo with Sludge Bomb if you have the right stats. So again, if you hit the stats, if you can pull this off, then it's a step up from Drapion. Now, this matchup right here, Dragonair, is a loss for sure. Straight Aqua Tail. You can play around with the IVs. It's not gonna make it better, right? But the thing is, it's so close to a Crunch. It's like one Poison Jab away from a Crunch, and it does 63 damage with the Crunch. Dragonair has like 50 something HP, so you can definitely kill it with the Crunch. That's important because the way that I recommend that you use Skuntank in the Timeless Cup is as a safe swap, right? You want to swap in on the grass type and then get a couple of poison jabs, and then when the dragon type comes in, crunch, it's dead. Okay, you can get Dragonair, just get one extra poison jab, you can hit it, it's dead. Okay, and then if Lapras Sealeo comes in, then you don't have to throw the Crunch as the bait, right? You can just actually go straight Sludge Bomb. Actually, with Sealeo, you can go straight Sludge Bomb and kill it, but with Lapras, you have to land the Crunch bait, but not if you swap in, right? Not if you're like a switch in, you get a couple of poison jabs, you can go Sludge Bomb, and maybe kill it if you have better IVs. Or actually, you can even go straight Crunch. Interesting, right? You can go straight Crunch, right? You can see like it's just one more poison jab. You can throw, well, actually it's about to get a body slam, so yeah, but that extra energy definitely helps Skuntank. Same thing with Lapras, you can actually go straight Crunch. Look at that, look at how close it is, and then you can also, consider going straight Sludge Bomb. But the thing is, the IVs are really important, right? Really important. Look at that, 3 HP, it still pulls it off. Now with the other problems, the Mud Boys, yep, you still lose. You can't have everything, guys. You cannot have everything. You can either have Glalie who can beat Whiscash, or you can have Skuntank who can beat Lapras Sealeo. I think this one is, much better because Lapras Sealeo, that's meat and potatoes, right? But it's actually a step ahead with the fire type coverage because it actually beats Charizard, right? It's not a CMP tie anymore. It actually wins straight Crunch, okay? And then with Cast Form, it's super close, stat based. And then with Ninetales, yes, it beats it. it definitely beats it. And then with Blaziken, it loses. So only Blaziken. So this one is a step ahead from Drapion if you can pull off the stats. Again, the stats, super important. I really want Skuntank, but the thing is, I don't have a good IV Skuntank. Maybe you have a good IV Tentacruel, which actually does almost the same and a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Well, actually, side grady, it loses like Haunter and stuff, but it can handle Blaziken. It's like a side grady type of thing, but again, the stats super close with so many things, but it can pull off some crazy stuff. Now with Dragonair, straight Acid Spray, default stats. Take a look at this, okay? Super close, 3 HP. All right, very tight, very tight stats, guys. Stats very important because if you maximize, you can get it all the way up to like an amazing number 7. But you know, you can pull it off. But the problem with Dragonair is if it can bait and then throw the Dragon Pulse, you're dead. But I mean, it's got 7 HP, so it might be an IV thing as well. It's pretty close. It's very close. Get good stats. With Kingdra, straight Sludge Wave, super clear. With Lapras Leo, it's just straight Sludge Wave. Alright? Straight Sludge Wave, you can pull it off. With Maximize, with default stats. So yes, that's nice. So it's got the Dragon, it's got the Lapras Leo meat and potatoes coverage. That's very nice. With the grass types, Meg is always a problem with the Earthquake. Again, if it gets there, just block it. You'll get to the next match with like 70 HP. You can get that shield back for sure. This guy, he's scary. It's scary not to block, okay? And that's nice because he has Acid Spray, right? Now, Tentacruel loses to the Razor Leafer, so yeah, that's why Victory Bell's not there. That is Vine Whip. Ivysaur, right? So yes, stats, it's all about the stats. Make sure you have good stats, get the stats. Now, it still has the Mudboy problem, but this is a pretty good spread, I would say, right? This is a really good spread. I think this is like the widest coverage out of all the stuff that we've talked about. You just can't have everything, right? You can't, okay? But nice, it covers all the fire types now. Okay, still has some poison coverage. Drapion, straight Acid Spray. Skuntank, you have to bait, get the Sludge Wave, but yeah, I mean, you can pull it off, okay? Haunter, no. Venomoth, no. That's actually one of the things that we have to talk about. If you're running Haunter and a Grass Poison type, do not run Tentacruel, okay? Maybe 2, okay? But still be careful with the Venomoth. Don't run them on the same lineup if you see Venomoth. Now, the first 4 Pokemon that we talked about were kind of like building up, right, in coverage, but they did have some side grady type situations, like some can handle Whiscash, others can handle Lapras Leo type of thing. Now, the Stone Stick, Sudowoodo, he's a Stone Stick because he's a rock type, okay? He doesn't have the widest coverage compared to the other generalist, but he does beat the things that he beats in a pretty solid manner. So if you were watching this video and you were like looking for a generalist for your team, but then you were looking at the Pokemon available to you and you didn't have like the best stats, you couldn't get the win in the simulations, then maybe Sudowoodo is the Pokemon for you because it doesn't really need the best of the best stats for it to do what it does. As far as I know, there's no bulk points, there's nothing like that. Keep it simple, straight Rock Slide most of the time. You have Earthquake to surprise things, alright? But yeah, most of the time, just straight Rock Slide will do it. Now, if you take a look at the coverage, what it does is, it protects your Dragonair and your Grass types. That's it. That's all you have to remember. It protects your Dragonair and your Grass types, okay? It does the job of a Grass type, right? Plus Shelgon, okay? Plus Shelgon, alright? And then it does the job of a Mudboy minus Blaziken. Alright, so that's basically the coverage. Sudowoodo also has a lot of shield pressure, so if you want, you know, a stick or a rock to throw at the shields to break it, Sudowoodo is your stick rock. Weaknesses, it's actually got a lot of problems, right? Whiscash, Swampert, yup, Blaziken, but the thing is, I feel like Blaziken is not gonna be as good as Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo, I think, does a better job because it can actually take a surf. It can take 1 surf. Blaziken, if you touch it with water, it will die. I feel like this guy is an upgrade to Blaziken, okay? So, yeah. And what else? Razor Leaf first. Grass types, yes, beat down Sudowoodo, but The Vine Whippers though, it gets pretty close. It gets pretty close. Maybe if like they swap in, it's not a good situation for them. But yeah, generally grass types, it loses. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the Timeless Cup Meta Simplified Guide. That's it. That's all the episodes. So yeah, if you haven't watched the episodes, definitely like watch the episodes. I hope that this helped you with your team building, right? Especially this episode, because the Pokemon that we talked about in this episode have so many things that they cover, right? Definitely like fill like a hole in your team, plus add some more coverage to other things, right? So yes, I hope you were able to build a well-balanced team, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Remember to leave a like, comment down below what your Timeless Cup team is, especially if you're in the Philippines. Especially if you're going to the same tournaments that I'm going to, okay? Alright. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Ding that notification bell. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys!